All right, welcome back, guys. We're back with another one. Today, we're going to be talking about men are healing from dating in the West when going overseas. This is another man who has gone overseas. I'm trying to tell you guys. All right, let's get into it.
So we had an interesting conversation last night in the group call. And it was basically about healing from dating in the West and how overseas, especially here, you don't have to tell a woman how to be a woman. So some of the topics that were coming up.
That's one of the main reasons why I loved going overseas. It was simply because you start to see the major differences between the women here and the women there, and how the women there are women. And I don't know how else to say that. You have to experience it.
Up were pretty much how considerate women are here, how nice they are, how much more feminine and friendly, and all the things that we say on the channel constantly. It really does manifest itself in your dates. For example, women will be thanking you for your time. Women will be absolutely grateful that you decided to take any time out of your day to go see them on a date. They take themselves very seriously. They will dress absolutely to the nines. They want to impress you just as much as you want to impress them.
That's a dynamic that has been lost. The fact that two people go into a situation and they both want each other's approval, not in a negative way, but in a way that displays effort, that I like you. And if you like these qualities of me, I want you to like me as well. And you don't realize how much of a difference that is when it comes to your dating life until it's happening to you constantly.
Very much 50-50 in the regards of the effort that's being put in. The combative nature of what can I get out of you, or what do you do for me, or what do you bring to the table. Things like, you have to take me out to this 5-star restaurant, that even a normal place is no longer good enough for me. None of that stuff exists out here in the rest of the world. Maybe you might find it in the capitals if you're going for a specific type of materialistic Barbie, but for the most part, dude, people here come from very humble beginnings. They have good family structures at home with a father that's present and taught them how to value themselves beyond money, and to look for characteristics in men that actually matter for a long-term relationship. So for the healing part, and this is pretty big, guys have been trained in the West to do as little as possible, to show as little interest as possible, simply for the fact that the more you seem interested in a woman, the more you seem invested or, quote, thirsty, the less she'll be into you. You almost have to play a hard-to-get game of disinterest and thinking you're better than, in order for a woman to chase up towards you.
And again, that's one of those things that you don't realize how crazy it sounds until you're outside. In order for you to like somebody, you have to show disinterest in them. Like, what are we even talking about? And again, it's one of those things that you learn as you start to go out and date. It's not something that you come out the gate with. See, most of us come out the gate like, we like you and we show interest that we like them. But then we understand that the results that we get when we do that are far less than if we were to show a slight disinterest. Look how crazy that sounds.
That's completely the wrong way to go about it here in other parts of the world. Women want to be chased, to be courted, and they also want to be taken out on dates and given attention and shown effort by the men that's pursuing them. So getting a woman flowers here, taking her out on a nice dinner, talking to her, getting to know her, and showing interest in her life and being communicative is actually a positive. You're seen as a guy that's good for something long-term, for something serious, not just some toad either passing by or a dusty. In their eyes here in the Eastern Europe part of the world that I'm in, and other parts of Southeast Asia, it's the amount of attention a man gives to a woman shows his interest directly.
Right, and I want to say he's in Romania. I want to say he's in Bucharest. But anyways, what I was trying to say is, again, there's like old dating coach tactics of like, when you get a woman's number, don't text her right away. Wait 6 hours or a day or 2 days to show her that you're busy. It's nonsense. When you go overseas, that type of stuff doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. They just won't hit you back, because again, it's like, why would you ask for my number if you're not going to text me, if you're not going to talk to me?
It's not a stupid game to be played of showing you how high value you are and that you're too good for this woman and why she should chase you. They're not mentally broken here. They've had fathers present in their lives. They understand what it means to have a man that actually cares about you, wants to take care of you, and what to expect from a man that's psychologically healthy. A lot of these things, unfortunately, you're never going to be able to teach them. And a lot of women in the West grow up without father figures present. And what that does is it damages them permanently, psychologically, as far as expectations from a man, the abandonment issues of a man not being present, and the value of a man in their lives is completely twisted. That right there will single-handedly change what your experience is like, your relationship with your woman. That's why we're always saying vet. Is her father present? Is her family still intact? Because those variables will have the biggest impact. I'll point the camera forward so you guys can see a little bit, but another thing is you don't have to tell women how to be women here. They're naturally wanting to cook for you. They naturally want to clean your place. Apart from the actual date that I explained earlier, when you do invite a woman over, or you go over to her place, that it will be immaculate, extremely clean. You'll never meet a dirty woman out here. It's like the ultimate shame if you can't even call yourself a woman if your place is a mess. And another thing.
That's the craziest thing. I went over a woman's house a while ago and she had roaches crawling on her wall. Ugh. Immediately out of there.
To expect is she'll most likely have a home cooked meal ready for you, something that she was working on the entire day, all for you, just thoughtful for you, not expecting you to go out, spend money on her again, or none of this story of I don't cook. They're keenly aware that if they're not clean and if they don't know how to cook, that they won't keep a man. This is drilled in their heads from the very beginning. It's some of the most basic things that men are looking for in a relationship, and women here still embody it. In the West, as we were talking about in the private community, it's almost become a flex. So one guy said that they wear it on their sleeve proudly like a tattoo, that they can't boil water or how bad they burn the.
That's the weirdest thing I ever see. And you see them in these comment sections where like you see a wife cook for her husband and it's like a nice meal, and then you'll have girls in the comments like, he'll never get this, I can only make cereal, he better like it, or I can burn boiled water, and people are like liking it and commenting and laughing. Like, listen, it's a joke, but it's not really a joke, you know what I mean? Because they're being honest about the life skills that they have, and the fact that you can't cook is, as an adult, is insane.
Stuff like the toast or something super basic, you know, like messing up the pasta in the box from the chicken Alfredo. It's like they can't even do the very bare minimum, and that's seen as I'm a strong boss babe. I'm so independent. I don't even need to cook. I don't even need to know how to cook. I don't need to know how to be clean. I'll hire a maid. Like, they're turning into such, I don't know what you could call it, man.
I call them undesirables.
Twisted form of femininity. It's completely broken at its core, and it repels any masculine man that they come across, so that the only men they have left dealing with them is literally the very same version of them, a broken, repellent style form of masculinity. So you get these.
And that's something that's not talked about. If you are a man and you are growing up in this era, you're going to do things that get you results. At least the winners are. And what that's going to do is turn you into the same type of man that he just said, psychologically damaged, broken, all this stuff. Because again, you're partaking in the actions that work for a damaged individual. That makes sense?
These effeminate men and these masculine women essentially coming together, which will always form some broken relationships, because deep down inside, none of them will be fulfilled, because they don't feel like they're stepping into their gender roles fully. And going back to the healing thing in regards to dating in the West, you yourself have to change up the way you look at relationships and how you deal with women, the sexual dynamics, because people here, or I should say overseas, people don't see you as an enemy simply for being a man. All those things you used to do in the West to protect yourself no longer really apply here. Like I said, trying to be stingy with your money, not showing a woman that you're too interested, not moving the relationship forward if you really like her, to really court her and really show her how serious you are. All that stuff is seen as a positive here. It's not seen as you being too thirsty. It's not seen as you not having any other options or some stupid other game like that that's become standard in the casual dating market in the West. So act like an adult.
Right. Dumb, stupid games that people are playing mainly because the other party is bored. Insane.
Show your interest as a man, take the lead, and you will be rewarded. And plenty of men that have been living around the world overseas will tell you just as much. So when you do end up going on a date, assume the woman is interested in you long term. Assume that the reason she's on the date is specifically for something like marriage and children. Don't assume that you're just going on for a casual one-on-one encounter for the night and then you're done and that's it. So when you come to the dinner table,
And that's something that also doesn't get talked about. When you're in a place like this, the average person, I shouldn't say the average, but the atmosphere makes it seem like everything is one and done, everything is quick, everything is fast paced. And that's one of the things that I had to unlearn when I went overseas to date, is that when people are dating, they're dating not for a quick smash, they're dating for a long-term relationship. And that's a completely different mindset that you bring to the table when you are trying to court somebody. And so that, again, what I'm seeing is a lot of guys who are underdeveloped socially and just personally. They go to these countries and they want to smash everything moving. And I understand, but at the same time, you have to recognize how destructive that is, right? That's why we see a lot of these guys. There's a very vocal minority of travelers who are going to red light district countries, and then they are getting girlfriends and relationships with red light district chicks. And you ask yourself, you're like, this girl has the same qualities, the same negative qualities of the women that you left in the West, but the only difference is this one's letting you smash. And then it's like, oh, because you have to remember, most guys' development stops at high school, at college, right? See, and again, even though you guys may find this hard to believe for whatever reason, I've had a girlfriend elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. And one of the things that I've learned is, like, after my college relationship, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm in college. I just want to have fun, yada, yada, right? And I went down that path. But afterwards, as I start to develop more, it's like, okay, I don't want quick flings anymore. I want long-term relationships. And a lot of guys don't go through that development. So the moment they start traveling and they have a lot of options, they're just trying to smash things that's moving. And most guys aren't able to develop themselves until their late 30s, 40s, 45, 50. And that's why we see a lot of these guys who are going over here just for women.
or on your coffee date, wherever it is, they don't mind. Coffee's not an issue here. It's actually a great way to know people. But when you go on your coffee date, just simply start asking relationship questions, marriage questions, things that gauge for long term. What are you interested in? How do you see your life being? None of those questions come off as weird. You don't have to pretend you're not that interested. You don't have to share information about, vapid topics that you don't really care about. People here are much more pragmatic, and in the rest of the world too, they just want to know, how serious are you about me and if I'm wasting my time or not. That intention of dating short term or casually, you'll find in nightclubs and bars and stuff like that. But for the most part, be very forward with what you want and you will get rewarded.
Right. Be a normal individual who's looking for a real relationship, and you will be rewarded. This is why I tell guys, a lot of you guys were trying to eat me up in the comments. We're like, don't code approach, don't code approach, don't code approach. I'm like, yes, you should be code approaching because you want to gain social skills. That way, when you're in these places, you're not a weirdo. You understand what I'm saying? Again, most guys don't want a cold approach out here, and it's because you want something from her. You want sex. You want something short term. You want something from her, and of course, that's going to lead you in the harassment category because it's easier to prove. But if you're going out here and you're saying, "Hey, do you know anything that's fun in the area? Hey, do you know?" You know what I'm saying? Those are very innocent questions and a great way for you to build up your social skills.
As soon as I get back. So going back to what I was saying before, don't feel like you have to be an asshole or you have to feign interest. Be direct. I know it's helpful to do that anyways with women in general, but especially overseas, a man that knows what he wants and that's direct is always very much so appreciated by a woman. And here, the difference is they'll show their appreciation 10 times more than you would when you're dealing with a Western woman that's playing a similar kind of game. It's basically what we've been telling you. It's just so nice, man, to deal with women that are extremely feminine in every sense of the word. I mean, from the way they dress to the way they act to the way they think, expectations in a relationship. It's just something that you'll never wish to go back to,
Oh
after
yeah,
going overseas. And that's
that's 100% facts.
everybody's experience. And when we talk to in the group chats, whether you're in Southeast Asia, whether you're in Eastern Europe, whether you're in Africa.
And yo, and listen, this is why you have to put the blinders on if you are a person who's choosing this lifestyle, because you're going to run into so many people who are going to talk bad about you or just bad about the whole situation and make you look dumb. And it's like, bro, if things aren't bad for you, congratulations. But the level of arrogance that you have to have that your experience is the same experience as everyone else in the world, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is why you have to have those blinders on, because you're not crazy. You know what you're talking about. And when you have these types of experiences, you can't go back.
Africa or wherever the hell else you're going. It's just nice being.
And he's right. It's not just Bucharest, Romania, and Eastern Europe. There's parts of Africa. There's parts of Southeast Asia. There are many different places that you could go to experience exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Around people that have the same mentality you do when it comes to relationships, marriage, children, gender roles, expectations in a relationship. Nothing seems like an attack. Nobody wants to tear your head off for simply saying you want a feminine woman. What if you want her to stay at home to watch after the kids? That's not seen as weird, man. Only in America is something like that seen as a negative, as emotional labor to be married or have a man want to take care of you. Over here, it's the standard. Everywhere, actually, in the rest of the world, it's the standard. Saying some shit like that over here, like you want to be a strong, independent boss babe and work and be a cuck for the IRS for the rest of your life, you'll get laughed at.
Of course, because it's weird behavior. Like, what are you talking about?
No woman wants to work. The women that work overseas all do so to help support their families, to take care of their parents that are aging. The actual responsibilities to the family. That's why these women are going to school and working, not because they have some like grand feminist utopia dream of like collecting cats and box wine. Like, they just want real relationships. They don't want to slave away at a job. They want to look after children. It's not
Right. And that's one of the things that as men, you have to be very careful about your whole situation, because again, you've been programmed so long where it's like, okay, short-term dating, I have to do this, I have to do this. And it's all like negative, toxic stuff. And then when you actually switch the mindset to like, oh wait, long-term partner, you ask yourself, am I a long-term partner? Like, do I have the mindset for that? And when I talk to a lot of guys don't have that, if I'm being honest. And so it's one of those things that you have to ask yourself. It's like, what are long-term qualities that are required of me as a man that is not pertained to the toxic dating culture that is the West? And I highly suggest that you take your first trip, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, however long you get away, and you go out to one of these countries where you experience femininity so you can understand who you are and start plugging out the holes, the blind spots that you have no idea about because you've been baked into this toxic culture for so long.
not weird. The indoctrination has yet to set in deeply in these parts of the world, but times are changing. The capitals are getting worse and worse. You are actually running out of time. Unless you go to the regional places, and it's still a little better. Clearly not as bad as the capitals, but even then, so the humble life overseas and the massive difference in wages keeps people grounded. That's the truth. Another thing is just economically speaking, to go out on a date is just extremely cheap. Sorry, like you can spend $200 on a day in America to go to somewhere decent with a decent steak. Over here, you can spend $80 for 2 steaks, you and your girl, plus a salad, plus appetizer, plus drinks, plus all that stuff, and it's $80, and it's a nice place with a beautiful terrace.
Right. And a lot of people say, bro, how do I pay for this? How do I pay for this? How do I pay for this? And I'll tell you guys a million times, either one, get a work from home job overseas. That's a complicated way to me personally. I know some guys get into the IT field. Again, all those have a lot of barrier to entries, but again, they work. But for me personally, digital marketing, this guy right here, he's doing digital marketing. How many subscribers does he have? 473,000. That means he's making great money from YouTube. How many views does he have? 51K. Yeah, he's making great money from YouTube. And guess what YouTube is a part of? Digital marketing. Do you think this is the only stream of income he has? I can guarantee you that if I go to his links down below, he's going to have other means of the ways that he can get paid. Let's go ahead and test that out right now, actually. Boom, school community and a link tree. Exactly. If we clicked on this school community and we go right here, he has 108 people paying him $20 a month. How much is that? 108 people times 20. He's making $2,160 just off of his school community. So that income, along with his YouTube channel, he's making amazing money. And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Start digital marketing now. Listen, if you have no money, start with free. Start with free courses and free whatever information you can find, whatever books that you can find for free. Just start getting into it. And when you realize that this is something that you can do, this is something I want to specialize in, that's when you buy the course. I have a course in the description box that is $500 to teach you the absolute fundamentals step by step, so you can get the skill set to start wherever it is that you want to start in digital marketing. This is the wave. I'm trying to tell you guys. There's a guy that said, yeah, bro, if everybody gets into digital marketing, that means it's going to be saturated. It's not going to be saturated. You lack understanding. See, if everybody in your hometown started a store, that's oversaturation, okay? But again, when it comes to digital marketing, you're not talking about the couple 100,000 people in your local city. You're talking about the world. You're talking about billions of individuals. I go to my analytics right now. I'm talking to people all over the world. If I have digital marketing, I'm talking to the world. I'm selling to the world, okay? That's what you have to understand. The pool is a lot bigger than you could ever imagine. And we are still at the very beginning stages of it. So the odds of you, I'm not going to say guaranteed, but the odds of you making a full-time income online is that much higher before the world catches up to it.
Lake view, extremely clean, 5-star like service, fine dining experience, all that stuff. And it won't break the bank. Obviously, for the locals, it's expensive. But if you're making an American salary or you have higher than average income, the cost of living here is going to make dating itself much cheaper for you, because dating is absolutely wallet busting in the United States or even in the UK or other parts of Western Europe. Prices for restaurants, prices for just fun activities, traveling anywhere remotely close to where you live, beach, whatever, if you're near mountains or something, skiing, resorts, all that stuff, will break the bank. Absolutely. It's insane, especially.
And another one of the silly talking points that I hear detractors try to say is they'll say things like, oh, you're going over to these countries and you're making the prices go up. I'm not making anything go up. I don't own those businesses. The local people who own those businesses are raising their prices. Don't blame me for that. Now listen, is there a small portion of people who go over to these countries, buy up, and then raise the prices? Of course. But name me a country that doesn't happen. If you live in the United States, listen, if you lived in Austin 10 years ago, if you lived in Nashville 10 years ago, if you lived in Charlotte 10 years ago, yeah, what happened to the prices? It went up. So name me a place where prices don't go up. Somebody else said they like, oh, the people aren't going to, they're going to resent you. They're not going to like you. People don't like you wherever you go. Have you ever had a job where everybody liked you? Yeah, I don't think so.
Especially with the wages.
It's like these are the things that they're saying, and I get it because they have to work it out in their mind before they accept the idea. But again, it's one of those things that if you're not really thinking about what you're saying when you say it.
You're earning in America, I mean, you pretty much can maybe budget for a few decent dates a month. Given the state of dating in America, you're going to blow through your budget on 2 shitty dates, statistically speaking, because most people are either using filters or angles or God knows what on their profile. So you could show up to a date and people will look completely different than what they do on their profile, or the hidden emotional trauma and the baggage that you have to deal with because of how screwed up the family structure in America is. I mean, it's insane that the women there won't even accept a coffee date because that's seen as low effort. But the women here absolutely would enjoy and adore a coffee date and thanks you for your time. And they look 10 times better. That's what's crazy. That's not like 400-pound willies telling you like we don't do coffee dates. All the women here are tall, beautiful, perfect skin, friendly, super fit. Literally, their bodies, they look like athletes, some of them. They take care of themselves. They know how to cook. They know how to clean. The competition, dude, like women in the West can't compete on a global market. Anybody that's been to Eastern Europe or the Balkans or Southeast Asia, they'll tell you the same thing. Just the women are a full package is how you describe it. They have every.
And if you've been in my live streams, listen, we've been to countries, Greece, Moscow, parts of Africa, parts of Latin America, where the women are absolutely gorgeous. And this isn't some like top tier. These are the average walking around women.
Everything. And the demands are reasonable. But, you know, don't believe me. You come out here and see for yourself. I'm basically back at my apartment. Show you guys what it looks like. This is a private street.
All right, I think he's just showing
No
us
cars
the
allowed.
apartment. Which, I mean, look at this. This is
Beautiful,
nice.
brand new buildings.
And I want to say, hold on.
Yeah.
Boom. And I guarantee you, his rent is not expensive.
And
In a
it
place
only
like this,
costs $1,000 a month.
exactly,
The hallway alone should tell you what
$1,000
the
a
place
month.
is like.
I guarantee you have a place like this wherever it is you live at. If you're in a major city, you're paying at least $2,500. And I want to say he's in a luxury spot.
Just
so I'm
walked
sure
in, my
you
little
could
robot's
do.
cleaning.
I'm sure you can do a lot less, but still have that quality for less money.
Excuse some of the mess. I ordered a bunch of stuff. My girl.
I think he might be done here, but you guys get the point. I'm gonna say this till I'm blue in the face. I'm gonna get video after video after video after video. And if you're a guy that's like, I want this lifestyle, I want this, get into digital marketing. Unless you have a degree and you plan on teaching English, or you plan on going the IT route, if you don't have anything of that nature, get into digital marketing. I can guarantee, I shouldn't say guarantee, but what I am saying is that it's going to give you the skill set that you need if you're trying to make a full-time income online. All right. So I think that's going to end today's video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below, and like the video if you like the video. If you want more content like this, type in more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Peace out.